Hello again. So I went to a private Catholic girls' grammar school that was really designed to turn out young ladies. Instead of gym, we had ballet, we had elocution lessons, and our after-school activities were private art and private music, which our parents could pay for. So when Sister Anne suggested that Notre Dame Academy was going to sponsor a science fair, that was a big deal. And I was elated because I had grown up in a household of brothers, so my whole house was a science project. We had aquariums and terrariums and lizards, and we even had a box turtle that lived on a rock for 2 years in our bathtub. But I had the coup de grace because I saved up my money for months to get the $14.95 it cost to purchase Batik, my boa constrictor. I had become very interested in snakes through a chance encounter at the Staten Island Zoo, which, if you don't know, has a fabulous herpetological collection, and that's reptiles. And Staten Island also has the largest collection of rattlesnakes in the world, in the zoo. And this kid was there, and he was picking up his weekly ration of snake food, because the Staten Island Zoo had an educational outreach, and they would supply discounts for snake food or reptile food. And you probably know that snake food are mice. So he was there, and I was just chatting him up, and he took me all around the collection, and I really got into it, and I was too young to be interested in him. So this was really an honest interest in these animals. And I really became fascinated. They don't have arms and legs, and they really get around quite well. They never close their eyes, and they shed their skin, and they can unhook their jaws when they feed, which was a source of endless fascination for me. So every Sunday I would go to the Staten Island Zoo, and I would pick up my 2 mice, and I would bring them home, and I would feed my snake. And one time I left the zoo with 2 mice, and I arrived home with 1 mouse, and this did not go unnoticed by Batik, who in the middle of the week escaped in search of the rest of his dinner. And I lived in an apartment building at the time, and there were people in the elevator that I didn't even know who asked me if I had found my snake yet. So eventually Batik got tired of looking on his own, and he peeked his head out, and we got him all back in his cage, and my father and I helped put in a latch on it. So I was very excited that Batik was going to be my science project. And I told my father about it, and my father was like, great idea. So I worked really, really hard on the poster, and I had all these beautiful photographs of really pretty snakes. I mean, we wear all those prints, so, they're very pretty. And I had a little thing about what gets happen if you get bit by a poisonous snake. And I tried my best to do the unhinged jaw thing. I didn't do so well. But so I came to school, and I had this aquarium with my snake in it, and a little cage with the 2 mice in it. And I walked into school, and I never really realized how seriously I had misjudged my audience, because right in front of me, had been there all along, but I never really focused, was this 8-foot-tall statue of Jesus with a staff in one hand and a globe in the other, and under his right foot was a screaming serpent with an apple in his mouth. And I thought, this isn't going to go very well. So, and then Sister Anne nixed the feeding demonstration because she thought it might be too intense. So, there went my science project. The most I could do was to wrap Batik around my hand and, sort of say, this is how he moves and this is what it means to constrict. And I asked them if they wanted to touch him to prove that snakes aren't slimy, but they declined. And so I I just had to deal with it. I didn't win the science fair. The girl who won, like, built a computer or something, and her father helped her, you know? But anyway, so afterwards, after my father and I came to pick up the snake, and we get there, and I swear I had latched the cage, but I didn't see the snake, and I'm starting to panic. My father's looking in he goes, up, there it is under the shaving, and he picks the aquarium up, and on his shoulder we walk out just as Sister Ann passes us, and I get into the car and I look, and my father had lied. There was no snake in there, and he was really trying to protect me because I wasn't the most popular girl in class anyway. So, but I just went home, I was just bawling my eyes out, but it became apparent because my father could barely contain his glee. Clearly, this was a generational transfer of some revenge that he had by being humiliated by a nun when he went to Catholic school. Thank you.